Alright, so now we're going to be looking at a transistor as an amplification. So you can use transistors to amplify a signal. And by doing this, you can really get some very sensitive circuits that can pick up on fields. And one of the best ones as an early on beginner is the touch field, okay, or magnetic field of the body. And you can get it so you can be maybe 3 inches away and it'll pick you up as a field and then set off the circuit. Alright, so to stack a transistor, they need to be all the same NPNs. Okay, NPNs work really good for this. And so a transistor has what? This. Okay, it has a collector, an emitter, and a base. And the base is a switch. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the emitter, which is emitting another one. So this one touches it. Okay? You touch this one and it goes out the emitter, whatever it's collecting. Okay, cool. So what if we do this? And what if we did that one more time? Okay, so we have a transistor, a transistor, a transistor. Okay, I will give it a power supply so you know what's going on. Okay, we'll go like this. We'll surround this entire circuit. And we'll surround it up here too, and eventually, so we can come down. Okay, now we got a lot of room to play. Alright, so basically how it goes is the emitter, the last emitter, so you can have 20,000 of these all hooked together if you wanted to. That'd probably be funny. And the last emitter will get hooked to the negative, like that. Okay, so the next thing is all collectors are hooked together. Okay, just like that. Alright, then we can power things. Okay, it doesn't matter what you power, but we're going to just do the LED. Now, if you were to do a 9-volt one of these, which is kind of nice, you would definitely need a resistor. But if you're not using if you're using just a 5-volt, you don't have to have the resistor because it doesn't have enough amperage. By the time it goes through all of these transistors, it has lost a lot of amps. So you don't need it for 5-volt. For like a 9-volt, you probably need about a 470 or a 330. Alright, now the same over here. So what's going to happen is we're going to attach a wire here. Okay, this wire is going to act as an antenna. And the more of these we have, the more sensitive this antenna gets. This antenna can be anything also. Like it could be a sensor that you have instead of an antenna, so we could attach a sensor in here. Certainly they make a lot of different sensors, but it would have to be an analog sensor. Okay, so let's go right into the build. Alright, so I definitely gotta learn to draw smaller. Alright. We're going to build the circuit, so we're going to need 3 transistors of like value. So I'm using the 222s from the LGU set, and you just basically stick those in so the emitter is to your left. And keep in mind, again, you can put as many as you want. So if you got, 15 of these or something like that. And there is a way to, since this is doing an output, you can do a multiplier also. Okay, so this is just stacking them in series, but there's also a multiplier that can happen off the collector. This is such a nerdy thing. I love it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom in on this portion of it, and that way you can see what I'm connecting. Okay, so I'm connecting the emitter to base. Okay, emitter to base. I'm going to be using black ones for that. Again, so the middle one, emitter to base, just like that. And finally, the last emitter, how many you have, the last emitter needs to hook up to ground. Boom. Okay. For the collectors, I'm going to choose green, just so you know what's going on. So every collector, I'm just going to connect back here onto the second portion of the breadboard. Boom. 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 Alright. So now that's pretty obvious that this is all ground, right? I mean, if it couldn't get any more ground, it's more ground. So this is going to hook up to the positive and to this. Now this is where if you had a 9-volt battery running this thing, you might want to put a resistor. So you would take this out. Like this, and run a resistor from here to the positive. We're not going to do that. Now keep in mind, this is going to light this LED. So it could, it could set off another chain of events here. So this is being set off because there is going to be a current that is occurring at this base. Okay, where's the current coming from? Alright. The current is coming from me. I'm giving off the current. Let me zoom out so you can see this. Okay, so this is the wire. Again, this is not hooked up to anything. I'm just touching the wire and it's turning on. So it's detecting my current. I'm grounded. Okay, it's my ground. So this would be the first series. Okay. Now this could feed another series of transistors at the top. Where this would hook into the base of a transistor and then go to a second series and a third series. So you have not only a series that can go on forever, but a multiplication that can go on forever too, where it becomes so sensitive that you can have somebody walk in the room and it would pick them up, So you can get about 3 or 4 inches if you have like 10 or so of them hooked into a series. If they're in multiples, so if this was right here taking out of the equation, let's pretend this is gone, and that was a base. Okay, you would scratch that one out, and you would hook this. You would probably hook a resistor here, just a little one, 10 ohms, somewhat. You'd probably even have more than that, probably 100 ohm resistor, and that would go there, and then you would do another series and another series, and the collector would all be tied together, and then you could have your LED. So just some thinking how do I improve this circuit. So if I put a little wire here that's kind of stiff, it's a little easier. So applications, let's think of them. Okay, one, since this is triggering that light, I could have it trigger a higher voltage device on the other side. There's no doubt. I could hook this to mains current if I wanted to in a weird way using a relay. But I could power things with this. I have. So you could, for instance, turn a faucet on by touching it. You could do a paper towel dispenser and have it dispense paper towel if you wanted to. So all kinds of crazy things. So this circuit will branch into other circuits and run them using relays, of course. Don't hook this to mains. Yep, pretty fun. So that is touch capacitance, and that's how you put them in series and multiplies if you want to. Enjoy.